Ready.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome
Hi.
to another edition of Author Spotlight with Rabbit House Press. We're a publishing company based in Versailles, Kentucky, but we are talking to people right now up in the Berkshires and in Lexington and all over. Today, we are welcoming Phil Knoll and Laura Chester for this beautiful book we just put out, Spooning with Mojo. You can find it, as always, on rabbithousepress.com or anywhere you buy your books. Welcome, Laura and Phil.
Well, thank
Thank you.
you.
I want to begin by reading what Molly Young wrote from the New York Times, and this is on the back of the book. Spooning with Mojo is a literary and visual fiesta for readers of all sizes. Whether little, medium, or full grown, Laura Chester's poems braid sly sweetness with wisdom, dancing deftly with Phil Knoll's jubilant, nutty images. Spooning with Mojo is the rarest of combinations, a hoot and a keeper. Molly Young, New York Times. So
Thanks, Molly.
congratulations, you all.
I like that, a hoot and a keeper.
A
Yeah.
hoot and a keeper.
It's almost all you have to say, a hoot and a keeper.
Exactly. And we're also
It's
with
a bit
my
of a
Rabbit
hoot,
House
I
Press
must say.
partner, Emily Wilhoit.
Hi,
Hello,
Emily.
everybody.
Hi.
I do
Hi.
feel like hoot is a good word because there's a lot of humor in these poems.
There is a lot of humor in the
There
poems.
is.
Emily, you want to start?
Sure. A hoot, as in hoot owl.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
There is an owl in the book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
that's
very
what I was
mean
saying.
owl.
Referencing an owl, there are all manner of animals and whimsy. But I get that some of the subject matter is somewhat of a serious note. Um, I also wanted to open my questioning line with a question for Laura Chester. Who is Hayden? Because you dedicate your book to him or her.
It's a her. Hayden is
Mm-hmm.
a little 4-year-old girl who is one of the children that I have kind of taken under my wing. And because I don't have any granddaughters, I only have grandsons, I've had to adopt numerous little girls that I can gift and enjoy.
Lucky them.
I just found a wooden red rocking horse at a tag sale that's on springs and is identical to one I had. And it was $20. So got it and I put it on their front porch, and she has not gotten off of it. Anyway, they were thrilled, even though, she's not reading, of course, at 4. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they can read to her. So Hayden is expecting a little baby brother in January. So that's also exciting.
Hooray for Hayden. And why did you say that you dedicated the book for her exactly?
Just because she's a special
Because she's
girl. Yeah,
the only girl. And for us girls, we need all the guidance we can get. And I think that what your book does, from my readings of some of the poems, is provide guidance on how to deal with moods and
mm,
emotions. And it gives definition to those feelings in the context of comparing them to colors.
true. But,
Absolutely.
the color poems came, actually, I wrote a whole series of color poems back when I was 20 in college. And I never
Oh,
published
okay.
them, but I had done my own little collages with them and I put them in a drawer. And um, when we came to do this book with Erin and Rabbit House, I thought, some of those color poems fit perfectly with more recent things. Like there's red, when I am in a red mood,
I'm
no
going
one
to share
knows.
my screen for a minute and just show you all some of the beautiful paintings in the book.
Great.
How beautiful is that? This is all Phil Knoll's artwork. Laura, do you want to read a poem?
Yeah, I was going to read one that is sort of um, called Game, which is really something that I've noticed all children seem to like. Every child I ever knew liked the game of peekaboo. Here I am, and you are too. Now I'm gone, but we're not through. Back I come, and laughter reigns now that I am here again. Funny thing to hide a face and then come back a kind of chase. Does he think I disappear when the rest of me is near? Peekaboo, I'm back once more. Then I close up like a door. Peek.
Peek. I love the end of that. Peek.
Can we show the image?
Yeah, this is,
No,
I
which
couldn't
one? Which
find the
image?
image, but
Which one is that?
this is the image that goes with that poem.
Oh, and let me see. Let me see if I've got. Oh God, I love that. I don't think you sent that one to me.
I did not.
Oh, but you have
I
that.
couldn't
Yeah.
find it in the haste.
Can we go back to the big
Look at
screen?
that.
Yeah.
That was one called, a lot of these poems sprang from a real situation. This one was called I Need a Hug. And it was sort of a sad situation where my grandson was very tiny and he was crying and saying, I need a hug. I need a hug.
Oh,
Anyway, I won't go into it, but you can read the book and find out what happens.
Yes. Is
But he
this what
gets it from
is
his
this the image
grandma.
from is this the painting from I Need a Hug?
That's the one that goes with I need
Yeah.
a hug. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone, this is such a special book in that it not only has these wonderful little morality poems, but it is just filled with the most gorgeous art. And it is look it just every page. What would you like to read now? Would you read do you want to read Art for Losers?
Sure. In fact, we wanted to show the big painting, which I bought from Phil. That is actually, let's see, I have things marked so I can find them.
This is the one that goes for art.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
I love
That one right there.
Yes.
Um, while she's looking, I'm going to explain something about my art. My art I made independently of the poems.
Yes.
And Laura Chester picked my art for her poems, and they work very nicely. Actually, I do a lot of what I call sort of cute art, but it's sort of my rebellion against the absurdities of the world. So cute is my rebellion.
I understand, and it's
I
it's
would use the
serious.
word charming rather than cute.
All
Charming.
right, that's about. He's a poet, so
But you
Kill
know,
'em with cute.
it's got a lot of sense of humor and a lot of, slight darkness and, irony in a lot of your art. And so I want to show more of it, but it's just fabulous. By the way, Phil, where can we get your art aside? Don't you have a show coming up?
I have a show at Bernay Fine Art in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, January 18th. And you could go through them to buy my artwork if you want to buy it, but you need to come to Great Barrington to see it. And but I'm excited about the show. I'm working really hard.
I'm hoping that Phil can move this laptop over to see we took a segment of a bigger collage
Right.
piece. And when I read this Art for Losers, then he can show you the full piece that I bought.
Okay.
We had to crop it because there's some adult themes happening in the big picture.
Okay. Well, we're all adults. No.
I'll read. You pick it up and look at the artwork.
All right, I'm going to do it.
Let's see.
I'm going to try not to wobble too much because I don't want
It's
people to get
okay.
sick. Look.
It's okay.
Do, 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 do.
And are you in your studio in Great Barrington?
We are in Laura Chester's home.
Oh,
called
wonderful.
Brown House.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
That is up in the Berkshire.
Oh, nice. The collage.
Back up.
Oh, yeah. I have
Okay, this poem is called Art for Losers, and that it does not have anything to do with Phil Knoll.
Uh-huh.
Laura, we got to go back to the table
Okay,
because
we'll
my
go
arms
back
are to start hurting.
The first line of this, like I said, a lot of poems just start out because I find a line. This was the first line was a found line from a description, historical description about my great grandfather getting his law degree in Europe. And he was staying with Mr. Pinkerpank. And the line that I liked was Mr. Pinkerpank's discretion was to play the spinet. And I just thought, what a great line. I've got
That's a great lead into a
I put
poem.
my glasses on because it's sort of dark in
You
here.
could put the picture of the pig up again if you want while she's reading.
Is this the Mr. Pink? Oh, is this a poem about that? Yeah. Okay. Let me
Yeah,
share.
it's about
Mhm.
I
Okay.
knew it sort of by heart, but I'm going to read it anyway. Mr. Pinkerpank's diversion was to play the spinet, though most of the notes he was apt to forget. Trying to figure out what to do, he tried retail, law, and banking too, but he couldn't understand long division. So it was Pinkerpank's final decision to give up all else and become a great artist. Yes, that's what I'll be. He wasn't the smartest, but at least he could see. After all, this skill came naturally to Pinkerpank. He could use his little pinky to stir up the paint.
Ah,
Yay!
love it.
Rather silly,
So the image does make sense with that poem.
It does.
Yep.
even though
So,
not the best artist. Rather, he's whatever.
Just an artist. But
was
all
that
artists
poem
think they're the best artists.
was that poem did you create that poem before you intertwined with Mr. Knoll's art, or how long did it take you to collect these poems and create these poems, write these poems?
So I had them in a drawer and I wasn't really doing anything with them. And then my friend met Kristen, and Kristen said she's best friends with Erin, and they were looking for a children's book. And I thought, well, I'll see if they like this. And so I sent it off. It was already pretty much, we needed to edit it down, and they were very good at helping me get rid of a few things. And I kept adding things and adding things and subtracting. You know how it
But it
goes.
was very interesting when we did pick it, because we've we've been offered a couple of children's books that we didn't feel was appropriate for Rabbit House Press, but because they didn't have a message, like the when we grew up, there was always a message to every nursery rhyme or everything. There was with Mother Goose and with, Aesop's fables. There was always like a little lesson. And in your poems, there's always a lesson in there. And
Don't forget about Dr. Seuss.
and Dr. Seuss, yeah. And so we loved him immediately. And then it just, was kind of got a double whammy when we got Phil's art to go along with it. So I mean, talk about a coffee table book. This is a wonderful one.
It wouldn't be the same without the art, I must say.
No.
I think
Oh,
it's
I don't know. I'm gonna say something about Laura Chester. She's very prolific, and she can make up a poem on the spot if you allow her. Even if you don't allow her,
for 10
sometimes
bucks. 10 bucks, I'll make up a poem.
$10 a poem is a big party trick.
it comes very naturally to her.
Yeah, I can
So-
believe it.
It's like the children's rap. Kids,
Yeah.
like rap in part because they really like rhyming. And I realize I'm in my second childhood now.
Uh-huh.
And I really enjoy like the spirit of childhood and also connecting with animals. A lot of the animals in the poems really are illustrative of children's feelings, like a whiff of mom. That came about when I was traveling, and my goddaughter said, Marcello kept going into your closet and sniffing your shoes. And I said, oh, he just wanted a whiff of mom.
Oh,
Oh, whiff of mom.
you want to read?
That's a poem.
Do you
Yeah,
want to read that one?
I'll read it just a couple of lines because it's a long one.
Did you send me the
That long.
image that goes along? It's not that long.
Marcello, my fellow, was as soft as a pillow, with the tremendous heart of a doodle dog. He was dead leaf colored and a little pigeon toed, but he knew what he needed, and it wasn't very much. All he wanted was a whiff of mom. When she went on a trip and left him behind, he was very, very sad, but pretended not to mind. He walked around the house trying to find her. He wanted to go for a walk, for he would follow her anywhere. Whenever the UPS driver pulled up, Marcello ran to the window, leaving a smudge on the glass. The driver brought boxes and funny-colored bones, but he didn't smell at all like Mom. Mom smelled something like caramel and cream, salty and sweet, quite delicious to him. He jumped on her bed, sank his nose in her pillow. He lingered in her bathroom. Part of her lived in a bottle. He would curl up and sink his head down on his paws, just waiting for a whiff of Mom. Marcello discovered that the place he liked best was inside her closet, down on his chest. For here he could usually get the scent of her clothes. Up high on the hangers, he had a very good nose. But still he felt empty, just like her shoes. All he wanted was a whiff of Mom. He knew if he waited and watched, he was sure to come home and things wouldn't feel botched. He would finally be happy and bounce like a puppy, even though he was getting old and a little bit scruffy. He imagined that he would put his head in her lap, but day after day she didn't come back. Why had she gone off and left him like this when all that he wanted was to give her a kiss? Would he ever have the thing he needed most in the world? Just a simple whiff of Mom. Then finally, when the sun was about to go down, a car pulled up. He remembered the sound. Though Marcello had almost given up hope, he heard the sound of her heels and the click of the lock. He rushed to the door and sat looking up. And then she appeared to her most loyal pup. He ran round in circles, put his nose in the air, for finally she was home. She was really, really there. And he had what he wanted most in the world, just a single whiff of Mom.
Oh, and Daisy came up while you were doing
The
that.
whole thing, which I wasn't
It's a
intending.
great poem.
It is a
It
great
is.
one. And Daisy wanted a whiff of Mom. My little
Oh,
Daisy came
yes,
over here while you were reading.
I think of kids, the reason she thought it was so funny because, Mom goes to work all day or Mom's traveling and they can identify with the animal wanting a whiff of Mom, kind of longing. So instead of talking about a little girl, I'm talking about a dog who has a similar emotion. So
Very astute and poignant and telling. And like Erin said, Daisy wanted a whiff of Mom during that poem that you read. I thought that was pretty
Carol does
serendipitous.
fabulous
Wow.
dog portraits, I must say. We have one of his large animal portraits. It's a lion
I
cub.
might have put a dog in the.
Did you put a dog in
I
the
don't.
images?
Maybe I didn't.
I
Oh,
don't think you did, but I can
Oh.
show one
sorry
here
about it.
because they're really,
Like the
really amazing.
sad, the one after the Las Vegas. What was that one
What?
called?
It's funny about my animals. I do animals with forward-facing eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and people put emotions on them, and sad is probably one of them. But I think more they're going, "What did you do to this world?" I think that's what they're saying.
That
Yeah.
picture is very much like Marcello.
Accusatory.
I want to show you this lion cub, though. There
Oh,
he
there he is. But the
Can
real
we-
one is right
We're
here.
going to show you
You got it?
the big image.
Oh,
Can you see it?
I got a glimpse of him.
Oh, wow.
Those are very forward-facing eyes.
Yes.
And here's another big one that we had hanging, but it wasn't really working on our mantelpiece.
Oh, yes.
The three birds.
I love that. I really
it.
love that.
Unfortunately, it's a little hard with the lamplight.
I want to remind everybody that they can get this art and poetry with Rabbit House Press' latest book, Spooning with Mojo. Lord
is
Chester,
one-
Phil Knoll.
This is one Phil gave me because this is my favorite picture.
I love that.
I know, it makes
Love
me think
that.
It's a bunny.
of how I feel
It's
half
a
the time.
very excited bunny saying, what? I mean, what an expression.
I know, it went with a poem called Lapse because we're all forgetting everything.
Oh
And
gosh.
it just starts out, I forgot what I forget. Glasses.
You forgot your glasses?
I
Forgot my glasses.
I forget what I forgot because I can't remember what it was that I just thought I remembered. Now it's not. And the last stanza is, don't forget, forgetfulness is not a major sin, but you cannot take a memory out unless you put it in.
Oh, nice.
I didn't
Short
read
little-
the middle three stanzas because we don't want to go on too long.
Oh, we do want to
Lest
go.
we forget.
This is another one of his that he gave me, which he wrote actually when he read something in a novel of mine. I think it was in Kingdom Come.
Yep.
And then
That's
I ended up having to write a poem about summertime and sprinkler parties. Did you ever have sprinkler parties as a
Oh,
kid?
yes.
and you'd have potato chips, and you'd have Ritz cracker peanut butter tower sandwiches, and then the whole neighborhood would come over and you'd run through the sprinkler, and
They were the best.
yeah, we were allowed to drink soda.
Great. Yeah.
Before there were water parks, before there were
That-
splash
That one
pads.
is actually in the images that I sent. So
Oh, is it? Let me make the big one. Do you want to read advice while I find that?
Advice. I thought this image, I don't know which came first, the poem or the visual.
the image came first.
Can you see
Okay, hold on. Let me find it.
The first one.
first one? Advice. Advice might be nice if it wasn't for me. I'm not some small child cuddled up on your knee. The word shoulds gotta go. I won't do it, you know. When it comes to my mother, in one ear, out the other. You see, most advice bounces off of one's head and ends up with dust balls under the bed.
Oh, I love it.
That's hilarious.
We all have to watch out about giving advice to others. I have the problem also. And no one really likes advice.
Yeah.
It's
Did anybody ever advise you to start writing, or was that of your own gumption, do you think? What kind of encouragement did you receive?
I got a
as a
lot of
writer?
encouragement from my mom. When I
Mhm.
wrote my first novel as a young novel, I should say, on a yellow pad of paper about so big, called it was about Pixie the pony and Betsy, these two on an island, of course, a little pony and a girl.
And how old were you at that time?
I was about 10 or so, 11, and I would have to run down and to the living room. I still remember. I wish I had it because, you know, I wrote all these full pad about Pixie and Betsy.
Oh,
And my mother was so supportive all through my, you know, young adulthood and whenever she admired. That was one of the few things
where did you grow up?
in Milwaukee, in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
So I know my dad kept everything we ever did, including report cards from first grade.
Oh, I
And
love that.
my first grade teacher wrote, Laura really enjoys writing her little stories.
Oh, I love it.
The big cat and the little dog. Maybe you should draw that.
I think I already have.
The big cat, the little dog.
Anyway, so we
So
have a
I
lot of
read in
fun.
I read in Phil's bio where he had been drawing since well, the womb is what it says about you, and you want to expound upon that statement?
Well, that's sort of that's a joke because artists
Obviously.
when they explain, they're like, oh, I was drawing since I was a kid, since 1 year old. So I wanted to up that. So I said I was
I
drawing.
was inside the womb.
You beat me.
But I have been drawing since I was a little kid. I was sort of a sickly kid. I had a lot of ear infections. So I was at home from school, and to entertain myself, I would watch animation on TV, the Looney Tunes and Mighty Mouse and those kind of things. And then I would draw, and that's how I entertained myself. So that's why I'm so uneducated.
What
But I would draw constantly. In fact, I would go to the doctor's office and I would see the posters on the wall of all the interior of the ears and stuff. And I would go home and from memory, I would draw them. And then my mom would bring them to the doctor the next time.
Look what he did.
Not right, but it's pretty darn good. So
I mean, you really are extraordinary. And I don't think, that you hear about that often that when there's some kind of trouble or well, I mean, I'm thinking of like The Secret Garden and, any body that's sort of in bedridden at any amount of time, they become creative.
yeah, it helped me. I didn't have a cell phone, so I drew.
Right.
Here's an image which you call self-portrait.
Ooh, I love that.
Oh,
Like
nice.
all the many faces of Phil Knoll, or all the things that have influenced him over time. And
That's a great one to show.
he's also
Did
been
you
doing
send
a
that
lot
to
of
me, Phil?
your blue drawings.
Oh,
which-
I do these ballpoint drawing. Oh, the bears at the back. I think I actually have that on my images that I sent you. I've been doing these ballpoint scribble drawings, and it's just it's like a Pilot ballpoint pen, and I draw them. So if you go to the images, you'll see it. It's the three bears looking up into the sky.
Okay, let me find that.
That's all ballpoint drawings, and so I've been doing those. And actually, I'm working on one right now for my show in January. And
Here's another one of the blue. I'll get it up close.
Yeah, that's a ballpoint scribble. I just scribble to make the drawing.
But a lot of them are also extremely complex collages of images.
It's the one sort of in the middle, number 6, I believe.
It's
No,
all blue.
5, 6.
That one right there. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Ballpoint pen.
I wish you had brought one of your complex new ones.
That is
You
really,
only bring so much, Laura
Oh,
Chester.
golly.
that's really, really, and
Bring
you
it
know,
all, baby.
Anyway, so there's 3 in
Wow.
our family. We have a daughter, and we go to Mexico and we hike everywhere. So this is sort of a self-portrait of us looking at something astounding.
oh,
I
love
see astounding in those faces.
I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's too soon to read that last poem, but it kind of relates to this last poem where it's sort of getting to be dark and time for bed.
Yeah, read it.
Now that this is at the very end, and it was one of these things that just sprang up even when the book was in progress. And I said, can we slip this in at the very end? Because I think it's a nice way to close the book.
Yeah.
Now that my little book is through, it's time to say goodbye to you. Good night to the sun as it goes down and brings out the moon above our town. If I were to wish upon a star, it would be for no more war. I only want a peaceful sleep down where the thriving woodbines creep. Good night, my baby. Good night, dear friends. This is where your dreams begin.
Which I love that. How it
Really touching.
ending.
Precious.
Did you see? I want to show
Wait.
Phil's. This is his author's photo.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
He decided to use very youthful images, and this is my author's photo.
Oh, yes.
That's so
Wow.
cute.
That's
Both of you are just
a real
adorable.
lion cub at the Munich Zoo when I was traveling with my family
Yes.
over doing one of those tours.
Laura's poems are very touching. They're sort of fun, but they're sort of touching.
Okay.
Yes.
They're touching.
Nothing like that. Could stop touching me. Oh my God. Oh, fun.
Well, they're not all dark. They're not all like about the bratty hole or about pouting. We got to rout the pouting out. There's some that are kind of like the springing one is very upbeat.
I have that photo.
Oh, the photo of the bear sniffing the flower. If you want to go to
You
that,
gonna read that one?
I'll read it while you go to the
Springing.
image on it's the bear sniffing the
Number
flower.
4.
There we
I
go.
was showing that a little while ago.
Yeah.
I think I may be singing about buttercups a springing across the lawn like early dawn, but sadly they will soon be gone. Oh, buttercups delight, I hold them up unto the light. Their yellow glows beneath my chin. And so in springtime we begin to praise the tender buttercup. So tiny it holds nothing up, but sunlight fills its simple bowl for little hands like yours to hold.
Oh,
Yes.
There
now
are,
I'm just going to go through some of these other
yeah,
images that you sent me.
like the
Just so people
surfing bear.
saw
There's
that
the
one.
guys. What about the surfing bear?
Yeah, that's it.
Um,
Here's this one.
oh, look at that.
That'll look good big, I think, on
That's
the screen.
really a big one.
Yeah.
That's quite.
That's going to be in the show.
Beautiful.
What size are these
It's
are these paintings?
That
Most
one
of
is
your paintings.
probably 48 inches across.
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty big, 4 feet or so.
In general, do you paint larger or smaller? 'Cause I
Mostly
find-
smaller. For some reason, I was inspired to do that. It's watercolor and color pencil is what it is. And the branches are all graphite pencil. Basically, just a plain old pencil.
Right.
It's really hard to get that background in. Oh, that's the back cover.
Yeah, this is the back cover of the book,
Wait.
which I love.
I feel like, Phil, your artwork is muted and brilliant all at the same time. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Look at
Because
that.
the backgrounds are muted, but the foregrounds and the characters and the focus and the subjects of your art are just brilliantly lit up.
Yeah, I
Is that on
try to do
purpose?
that. I try to get the subject right within the environment of. It's almost like a photograph where when you're taking a photograph of a person, they're in focus, but the background's sort of fuzzy.
Right. I love that.
Try to get that
That's what
kind
it
of
is.
effect.
This picture actually, I bought for my son in California.
Oh, you did.
Even though he's not a surfer, it just seemed like very California.
He's
It's
surfed
very
before.
He'd rather ski.
And we've seen that one, and we've seen that one. That's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Let's
But
see.
sometimes you'll have something like this.
Oh,
And
yes.
Aw.
And so then it had to be, some poodles only eat noodles.
Oh,
When
read
they
that
try-
one.
When they try to draw straight, they come up with doodles. Some poodles only like noodles. Anyway,
That's fun to rhyme.
I just like the image.
You could put the cover image on the screen. That's the very last one on your
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
that I sent.
And I want to, yeah, just wanted to really quick show what she was just showing in a bigger way, because these other you've got a lot of like octopuses and that.
I do octopus for some reason. I feel akin to octopus because
Are your hands
yeah, I
everywhere?
got
Thank God you're
an artist and a dad and a husband. I just feel like I got my hands in all different
Got your
things.
hands all over, and then
He's very faithful to his wife, I'll say that.
oh. I love your wife. Sue is really an amazing
Yeah,
woman.
she is.
She's
And an
amazing
artist as well.
also.
Yeah.
She's a great artist and
She's a great artist. Is there a really great artistic community up there in the Berkshires?
A fantastic community.
really
Mhm.
Really?
are our people.
Yeah, there's
Look at
artists,
that
poet.
puppy.
Yeah,
That
Oh my
I
God.
wanted to read
that's
that
pretty
one.
big.
I
That's
wanted to read that
probably
one
43
poem.
inches by 43 inches. So it's a fairly big dog.
Where is
I
Very,
can't see it.
everybody, this is a very
Wow.
special book.
that?
Show-
That sad dog came from. There was a Greta Garbo film, Camille, and there was
Uh-huh.
one line in it. For some reason, it stuck in my mind.
Oh,
You can't
really?
Your own
I
poem,
can't
can you?
find because we don't have our. Oh, sad. Las Vegas. So this line from Camille was, "Oh, I had a little doggy and I loved him so. He'd follow wherever he would go." And so let me just quickly read this poem. Was called Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
I had a little doggy and I loved him so. He would follow me around wherever I would go. He'd bring me a toy or a leaf or a stick. This welcome home present was his number one trick. He didn't like to eat much, that wasn't his thing, but off through the tall grass my doggy would spring. He'd follow me into the cottage at night to sleep on his sheepskin till morning was bright. He'd look up at me with those clear amber eyes. But then one sad day, my sweet doggy died. I
Oh,
cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. My parents said he had just gone on a trip to Las Vegas, they said. But I'd rather skip that story they told. I just want to know, when I get very old, will I go to Las Vegas? So that's the kind of poem that adults get maybe more than children.
yeah, yes.
That's a great way to introduce the topic of death in Las Vegas.
It happens.
It's not so bad. You just go to Las Vegas,
Not bad. Just go
get
to
on the
Vegas.
Strip, go to Paris, whatever.
Right.
So
Love
anyway,
it.
Is Las Vegas a metaphor for heaven?
well, in this instance, my goddaughter's hamster died, and I said, I said, what did you tell her? They said, oh, we told her it went to Las Vegas. I thought, kids know when you're lying. Hello.
Right. Oh my God. It must have been
Do you,
a hoot to grow up with you as a mother. I know that.
yeah.
Well, we had a lot of fun. They make fun of me. I'd say, you got to beat the eggs like this. Got to beat the eggs like this. And so they go around the house like, like behind.
I'm friends with her sons. I love her sons.
Are they? And they're
Dearly.
artistic as
And
well,
his
right?
daughter is amazing. We're going to have Lana, luckily, for Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
And so our two little families are going to get together.
Oh, I love that.
I want to show you the Christmas tree. Can you see it?
Oh, wow.
That's a gorgeous tree.
It's a
Oh,
literally,
It sparkles.
beautiful.
it's
By the way, Laura's an amazing art collector, and she's got an amazing collection. So,
Oh,
Well-
wow.
and it's not just my artwork.
it's
I
Why
bet.
is it just my artwork?
because my ex-husband ran an art gallery for
Yeah.
years, and so
Oh,
I was
really?
forced
That's
to
how we
buy-
met.
That's how I was forced to buy a lot of art just to stay
Oh,
on.
wow.
I'm just kidding.
And was that in Great Barrington?
Yes.
It was very successful. And then I'm friends with another gallery owner in Great Barrington, the Bernay couple, the brother sister,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul and Lou, and also good friends with the Hudson. I get a lot of my art from Pamela Salisbury's art gallery in Hudson, New York.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wonderful. And that's how you're friends with Donna Damari.
and Donna Damari is a wonderful photographer.
Yes. I
We've
wanted-
done like 5 books together. She's illustrated 2 horse anthologies and a little book of prose poems and Holy Personal. We spent 5 years going around looking at small private chapels all over the country of every faith. And she took the photographs, and so we've done a lot together.
Yeah, I would love for her. I'm just kind of sniffing around trying Kristen and I want to thank Kristen for introducing me to you. Kristen Mentor is part of Rabbit House Press. And but it introduced me to Donna Damari's film work, and I'm trying to get her to do a little documentary with me.
Yes, that would be
So
great.
we're hoping that will happen. And we need to take the time to thank our wonderful designer, Brooke Lee,
Yes,
who did
She was so much fun to work with.
really fun.
Yeah.
really
great
fun.
and thorough, and
And it's even though the poems are amazing and the art was amazing, it's no easy feat to put a book like this together.
No.
And it is,
No.
truly the bookstores
We
around.
we worked her hard.
I'm sure you
You're
did.
trying to
And what?
place art. You're trying to place art images. That's Carlitos Redondo, Beach Boy Orlando. And what did he have for breakfast?
Oh, yes.
Brooke and Laura, that was 2 separate pictures that they put together, and I think it looks wonderful.
I think so too. Well, I just thank you, Brooke, for doing this beautiful book, and
Thanks to the whole crew.
for the whole crew.
Group process, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes, exactly. And so Emily, do you have any other last questions for our artists?
Is there another children's book in your future?
Who knows? Because
And can we publish it?
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to get drawing.
2 children's novels, Hiding Glory and Marvel the Marvelous, which were published. There's more young adult, like 8 to 12-year-olds, and that was fun. That's the only other time I did something for kids. But now, the older I get, the younger I seem to behave. So it comes very
That's a good
naturally.
quality.
It comes very
It's a
naturally
good
to
quality.
me.
I got that
to,
from my dad. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to tackle is selected writings from all the years I've been working, called Shovels and Chandeliers. So that's got to
Ooh.
got to
I
find.
know.
a
I
home.
love that title.
About this.
Yeah, you heard
She,
about it.
I think she told me.
Yes, I've seen an early manuscript of it, and I love it.
But I've decided to give up writing and become a great artist. That's what I'll be.
Yeah.
She actually
You know
does
what?
really, really beautiful collage paintings. I'm gonna call them paintings.
They're not paintings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
They're
call them
they're
paintings.
cut-ups.
They're collage, and they're really wonderful.
I
But,
really have fun being
but
visual.
I'm not gonna write poems. I'm
Okay.
not
I'm
gonna.
not going to write poems, just sticking with the art.
Yes, yeah.
Write a novel of
No,
your whole life.
no, no.
No.
Erin and Phil have a connection with Texas. They both kind of grew up in Texas. So
Yeah, I grew up in.
Yes.
I don't know where his accent is, though.
You
I
played
mean,
track in Texas. Yeah, I lived in Texas from sixth grade till I was out of high school, and then gone every summer. But Lubbock, Texas, that was an ex-boyfriend used to say, "You spent your formative years in Lubbock. That's what's wrong with you."
oh
Because I
well,
got it.
I
But when
know
I
we
was,
can't really
I have
shed
I have a memory about Lubbock, Texas.
what.
it's sad.
Well, it's sort of odd memory, but I was her track runner in college.
Yeah,
That's what paid for my college education is running on
wonderful.
a athletic scholarship. And I ran in a track meet in Lubbock, Texas at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And there was a dust storm.
Oh, those were horrible.
Oh
There was a
no.
huge dust storm, and I won the 1,500 meters that day. And after I got through running, I blew my nose and mud came out.
Oh my God,
Oh,
it gets in your teeth, it gets in your nose,
Oh my,
I mean, and coming from Kentucky and then living in Maine and Las Vegas in the summer, with my dad, it was just like, I just, I learned how to, take acid
oh,
at 15 because you had to get through it somehow.
oh my
And
God.
so, I mean, because
you're a
West
runner.
Texas,
I'm going to challenge you to a run. I was the fastest runner in my school.
Really?
Yeah.
I was
I
the
had a
record
college
I,
scholarship to run,
no one
Lower
gave me
Chester.
no one gave me any
Dorchester.
for running. I just ran away from all the boys. My
I was actually the
All right.
fastest
After
runner in
this
my
interview, we're
neighborhood.
going to go out and do a race.
Do a race,
Let
yeah.
us know who wins.
we're both too feeble
Oh God.
at this point, but
It's such a pleasure knowing you all and getting to know, the artist community up there in the Berkshires. It's always such a romantic thing when people say they're up at the Berkshires. And now to get to know you and see and hear about your community, it's really been a pleasure.
Yeah,
come
And
up in spring, like in late May. It's so gorgeous with
unbelievable.
everything's blooming. Well, you have everything blooming probably early
yeah,
April.
April and October are pretty special here in
I
Kentucky
know.
in Woodford County. So tell us again the shows that you have coming up and where your books are available now.
Well, right now here locally, they are at the Book Loft, which is our little local bookstore, and a wonderful toy store called Acorn in South Egremont. Karen Allen, who is that movie star you might have heard of,
Actress,
she said,
yes.
"Oh, I
The
want
Karen
10
Allen.
The
copies."
Karen
Yeah,
Allen.
yeah, Karen Allen,
That's
and
in
then
her store. She has a
and
clothing store.
Tom's Toys and Bernay Art Gallery, of course, has copies on hand. And then down in New Preston, where I went yesterday, I met these two guys and they said, we want 20 copies. So I had to drive them down there
That's in
and
Connecticut.
in Connecticut.
Right. Well, we're close to New York and Connecticut, so
That's
we
great.
all in the neighborhood.
But I
That's
think
great.
people are ordering them from even as far away as Norway, because a friend of mine said she found a copy on
Of
their account
course.
of Amazon in Norway. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yes, it's
I don't
available.
have to mail it.
It's available everywhere that you can find your books online. We have it at rabbithousepress.com. But it's also at Barnes and Noble, Amazon, which is Amazon International, so you can get them anywhere. And then there's a slew of other places you could get a hardcover or a paperback. And here in Lexington, Kentucky, they're at the Black Swan Bookstore,
Nice.
and they are adoring it there. And it's also in Midway, Kentucky, which is a beautiful little horse town right up the road. And they have it at a place called A Likely Story. And that is just the locals. And we're just beginning. The book just came out, and we are so very proud of it. And again, it's Spooning with Mojo by Laura Chester and
If
Phil.
people want to support their bookstores, they can ask the bookstore, their local bookstore, to order it for them rather than going through Amazon. Then the bookstore gets a good percentage.
They get a good percentage, and it's available through Ingram, which a lot of bookstores like to order through Ingram because they all have accounts with Ingram, and they'll say, "Oh, I'll just add 10 more of that." And this truly is a gift for adults. I've given it to more adults and for children. And it's something that, as Molly Young from the New York Times said, it is a keeper. It's like one of those very, very special books that's always going to look fabulous on your bookshelf and when you pull it out.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you, guys.
doing it.
Thank
That
you.
was,
Thank you.
Oh,
was
I thank
Thanks.
you all
I
so
don't
much.
get tired of it, I must say.
You know,
It's
you will never get
such
tired
a
of it.
pleasure, such a pleasure to have the actual book. Otherwise, it would be in my drawer just sleeping. And so
We
now it's
wouldn't
awake.
have that. We would not
Woo!
have that. Yeah, exactly. Wake me up. And so anyway, I appreciate you all so much. And thank you. And thanks again for listening to an author spotlight with Rabbit House Press.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Take care.
Thank you
Happy
so much.
holidays, everybody.
Too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.